Daryl Morey is on Front Street.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Game off. We got to talk more about Monopoly Go, the fast-paced game that lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. What's up, Mitch? How you doing, man?
KPP. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. So I'm Keith Pompey. This is my right-hand man, John Mitchell. We are the co-hosts of Locked On 76ers. Mitchell over there, she's covering it, but he's sporting that IMG, John. I'm about to say, what you know about IMG Academy?
They would have come after me back in 1983 if they were around.
Okay. He was going to be a linebacker extraordinary at IMG.
I might have been a water boy at IMG, but let's keep it real.
So look, yo, we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about, Daryl Morey's on Front Street. He's been here for a couple years. 4 seasons. They haven't got out in the second round for 3 of them. And last year they took a step backwards. But guess what? They said he got a clean slate. He got Maxey, Embiid, and a lot of non-guaranteed contracts, like 3 of them. And the rest of these guys had expiring deals. So this is his time to build the roster the way that he likes to. So we'll see what he can do. And then also, what's Joel Embiid's future with the Sixers? You know what I mean? What's the 76ers future with Joel Embiid? So we got to talk about that as well. And then some tidbits in the third segment. But Mitch, let's talk about it. Daryl Morey, man, this is it for him, right?
Yeah.
I guess this is what we all been waiting for. Now, here's the thing. There was a point in time where they said when the season first started that they had to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals for him to keep his job. January comes and he gets an extension. Mm-hmm. So that had to let you know that he had the total ownership, that he had a plan in store.
Right.
In place. So we'll see it. And in the past, no offense, but it's been a lot of dull off seasons, a lot of trades that were made, and the guys really didn't live up to the expectations that they had since he's been here. So, we'll see, man. We'll see if Daryl Morey can do something.
Yeah, man. I mean, let's be real. He this isn't Houston, and this isn't OKC. And like you said, there were high expectations, that they would get beyond the second round, particularly when they started the season off so well. And those expectations seem to go up in smoke, and he has had opportunities to pursue players that probably could have changed this current situation, whether it's, Siakam or OG. Now, granted, that requires, trade capital and draft capital and all that stuff. And shout out to the Knicks in Indiana for getting those guys. But, the moves haven't equated to victories. And now is the time, because people are tired. You've got an MVP and Joel Embiid, who has distinction now and continues to have the distinction of being the only MVP to never reach the conference finals. And honestly, if you look at the 76ers now, the only team, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that I am, that has more cap flexibility than them is the Detroit Pistons, who this season set the record for most consecutive losses during an NBA season. So that's what you have as a playoff team, bringing back a guy who was the best regular season when healthy NBA player on the planet. Bringing back a guy like Tyrese Maxey. Well, you're going to obviously give him that $200 million, whatever, $205 million extension. That's going to happen. So you're bringing back a guy who I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, because you see more of this than I do, but here's a guy who is arguably one of the top 5 players on the planet, 23 and under. Is that a stretch?
You talking about Maxey?
Maxey.
I mean, I say he may be top 10. Nah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know because like I don't know who's 23 and under or 20 whatever. Right. But like my thing is like, I mean, like you got Anthony Edwards, you got a couple. I mean, you know, he's exciting. I mean, he's one of. I'm not trying to hate. I just got to know who all is that age before I say that. But I would
definitely.
That's a trick
question.
Yeah, I would definitely say he's like probably top 10. Yeah, I just need to know who's all on that class because,
Yeah, but not knowing. I'm, you know, of course, Ant-Man is it.
Wemby.
I'm not taking him over Wemby, but he's in that conversation. You know, you know those guys are mandatory throwouts.
Yeah.
But either way, he's a star. He's a guy who they're gonna max out.
They don't have no. Yeah.
And he's, you know what I mean? And he's 23 years old. So and Daryl Morey he's got suitcases of cash, and he's got to make the right decisions. You can't hang on to what once happened because we're concerned about what will happen at this point. The 76ers have now gone 41 years without, an NBA championship. And when I was on the beat years ago, before they even they wanted Joshua Harris wanted Daryl Morey. So he's got his guy, and they gave him an extension. And now it's up to him to make sure that this team doesn't flounder, and it's all on him. So we'll see.
Yeah, see, my biggest concern is like, you can go out there and you can want whomever you want, right? Mm-hmm. But they gotta want you as well,
right?
And the thing is, you gotta make sure that you're the perfect fit because it's hard playing with a dominant center. It is like a lot of people. You already got a point guard who's an all-star, a guard who's an all-star, and then you got a center who everything runs through. So the question
stays in the high post, Keith.
Stay in the high post. I mean, so the question is, do you want to come here and take a lot of money and become the third or fourth fiddle, and then when stuff go wrong, then they calling you the second coming of Tobias Harris? So that's the question. So then also. A lot of these names that they're talking about going after, like Kevin Durant, Brandon Ingram, Jimmy Butler, Paul George. Well, Kevin Durant is getting older. Yeah. Paul George is getting older.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is getting older as well, and he's not getting any healthier, right? And then Brandon Ingram, the biggest game of the season, in the play-in, the coach benched him because he didn't like what he was doing.
Yes.
So to me, it's kind of like we're talking about the 23 and under crowd.
Right.
It's starting to be the changing of the guard a little bit.
Starting to
be like, and then they bring up LeBron James. But my thing is, it's kind of like now it's all about Tyrese Halliburton, Ant-Man, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. These are all the young faces of the league. So if you want to do that, it's basically you getting a guy who was an all-star, but he's no longer that hot guy that he used to be.
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And then also, let's face it, if everything is equal, they got to want to come here.
Exactly.
They have to. So it's nice to throw out names and say that what you got. But if you're doing all this and then you giving a guy who's 34, 35, a 4-year or 2 something max, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, let's see what they do. I don't know. It just seems to me that the goalposts just keep getting pushed back.
And I hope the fans, I mean, as much as you love a Jimmy Butler and his fight, I mean, what he did for us in 2019, that was 5 years ago, and we were teased. And now, he's a guy with questionable stuff, on questionable body stuff, conditions. So yeah, time marches on, man. It doesn't miss a beat. And so we'll continue to talk about this, and we will talk about the future with Joel Embiid when we get back. But right now, I want to talk about Monopoly Go. All right, game off. We got to pause here and talk about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. But there's just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. You can get unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. There's a ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 preeminent sport book.
Do it today, people. Definitely
Do
it
it
today.
till you're satisfied. Do it till the fluid gets hot. That's breakwater for some Philly heads. That might be before your time, Pete.
Do it before what?
Do it till the fluid gets hot. Breakwater, Philly's own.
Yeah. When they come out,
Man, they were they were late '80s, man. They were
know.
mid '80s.
Breakwater, man. It's funny because I should remember them, but I don't remember them.
Man,
were they pretty good?
Listen, you know what? Google them and you will remember. You'll be like, oh snap, that's what John was talking about.
Do it till the fluid gets hot.
Do it till the fluid gets. It sounds old, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds kind of like we're having hot water at the crib, or like what you talking about?
I might throw out some brass construction on you in a minute.
Yeah, like yo, what's the problem? Like let me stop.
Now trust me on that.
Hard time. Let me stop. But look, y'all, let's talk about this whole Joel Embiid thing. What the Sixers going to do now? Mitch, I was on the radio here, ESPN, a couple days ago, and they were asking me about Embiid, right? Saying, should the Sixers trade him? Should they do this? Should they do that? Then they also said, whose team is it? Is it Maxi's? This and that. And I said, no, it's Embiid's team. Like, I said, no offense to Maxi or anything like that. But if you take Embiid off this team, they were a lottery squad. I mean, I said, I love Maxi, but he had to score 50-something points in order for them to beat the Utah Jazz,
right,
and the San Antonio Spurs, right. So I said, you take Embiid, like when Embiid's presence, it makes everything better, right. So unfortunately, yeah, you can say you're going to trade him. You can say you're going to get this, but let's keep it 100. What you going to get for him? Like, you're not going to get anything at equal value, because what teams are going to say is, all right, you want an A-list type player, but then they're going to come back and say, yeah, but look at his injury history.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you the draft picks with it too, right? Yeah. I said, I mean, last year, when I broke the story that the Knicks were trying to give up Julius Randle and Evan Fournier and a package for him, like people laughed at that, like what?
Right.
But that's all teams like would give up right now because of the injury history. Right now, granted, if he went to the New York Knicks right now, they would probably him and Brunson and those gritty dudes. Oh, they would be great. It makes a lot of sense for the Knicks because they would be able to win now.
Right.
But aside from that, when you think about years down the line, teams aren't going to give up a lot for a guy because of they don't know what the injury history is going to be.
Right.
I mean, I mean, they don't know. Excuse me, they don't know what the future entails because of his injury history.
Right.
So, with that being said, like, what is his future? Now, the thing is, if I'm the 76ers, I'm not trading him. Some people say trade him. Secondly, the thing is, I think you got to let it play out. Now, the problem is Joel Embiid is in line for an extension. He could get an extension if he wants to. Now, here's the deal. If you Joel Embiid and you saw how dominant the team was with you, and then without you, that they were struggling against the worst teams in the league, oh, you daggone right, I'm gonna ask for some more money. Let's try. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, what's the deal? Like, yo, hook a brother up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people say we got to get rid of Joel. We got to do this, do that. All I'm saying is you get rid of him. What you going to get back in return? Like, and here's something else. Everybody thought it was easy when they got rid of Andre Drummond, saying, "Oh, there's a lot of centers out there." Well, how has that worked out for you? Right. So we're talking about a backup center. Now we're trying to talk about getting a starting level center that's elite and a team where the offense runs through him, right? The way it's set up. So I don't know. That's what I got to say on the subject.
No, you're the expert, Keith. And if you're Joel Embiid and there is the potential for you, you're July 18th, you're eligible for $195 million 3-year extension. You're looking at salary. You're looking at annual salaries of $59 million, 64.5, and 69.3 through the 28-29 season. Now, here's my caveat with Joel. I love him. I during the regular season from October to early April, I can't take my eyes off of him for those 50 some odd, for those 50 some odd games he appears in. If I'm the Sixers, you have to be serious. And this goes again to the front office. You can't have Joel Embiid showing up. If you're going to award him this money, he's listed at 280. You can't. That's very conservative. He's closer to 300 pounds. Joel Embiid, and I have been saying this for years now, he's too big. He's too big. He's not fat, but he needs to come in at a legitimate 275 pounds if he's going to prolong his career and stay healthy on the court. That's the only thing that he can do. That's something he has to do, whether he's, gets a dietitian to work with him, a cook. All those things have to happen. All those things have to happen for this guy to reach his full potential. Because let's be quite honest, as good as he is, he hasn't reached his potential. And like you said, he's put this team in a unique situation. I don't think any team in the history of the league has been in. You had this unbelievable talent who's never healthy, who's never there when you need him. His body is unreliable. That's not his fault. That's the body God gave him. And I kind of give him a pass this year because a 250-pound dude fell across his knee. I mean, he was relatively healthy. He was relatively healthy for Joel Embiid level, and for what we've come to expect. But, the people always point to the Rudy Gobert trade. But the one thing, what do we say, Keith? Your health is your wealth. Rudy Gobert was healthy, multiple-time defensive player of the year. He's not in Joel Embiid's stratosphere as a player. He's not in the same universe as Joel Embiid, but he's there every night, so it's not. I think extending him and his future with the 76ers is not as easy and smooth sailing it's not nothing but smooth sailing. So another musical reference for y'all out there. But there are some questions. There are some questions to be asked.
I agree 100%, but I don't know if they got too many other options right about now.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for them, I mean, you got Joel or bust, right? I mean,
right.
Maybe they may try to do it. But see, because the crazy part is, Joel. At the end of the day, man, Joel has the power.
Yeah.
Joel can go like this. Like, oh, y'all ain't gonna extend me?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Then what you gonna do? When a guy says he wants to be traded,
yeah,
an elite player like that, if you don't trade him, stuff could get crazy. I hate to say it. This is a players' league, right?
It is a players' league.
The NFL, man. This ain't the NFL. Yeah. It's a players' league. So if Joel wants out, then all of a sudden you're going to trade him, and you're not going to get back with equal value. So it's one of them things where I hate to say it, man. They don't really have a lot of options, dude. I mean, I hate to say that they don't have a lot of options.
That's why this all circles back to Sam Hinkie. I'm I'm analytic. But it all circles back to Daryl Morey. He's got to be a superstar. He's got to do something. He's got to be shrewd. He's got to make some moves. He's got to make some serious moves. So here we are, and let's see if he can make it happen. But right now, and before we go into our next segment, we'll talk about some, tidbits and do some house cleaning up maybe on the season. Right now, I want to talk to you about DoorDash. Want to make mom smile? Start Mother's Day with flowers or surprise her with gifts from the brand she loves, delivered the very same day with DoorDash. This Mother's Day, get something thoughtful from mom on DoorDash. Surprise her from wherever you are with fresh bouquets, the latest tech, gift cards, self-care treats, and more to make her day that much better. Does she have a sweet tooth? Maybe your mom is a tech enthusiast. Maybe she's on her phone all the time. Maybe all mothers are beautiful. Maybe she's a beauty connoisseur. Maybe she's outdoorsy and she likes to get out. Maybe she likes to hike through the urban jungle that is Philadelphia. Or maybe you live in Maple Shade, New Jersey, and it's not an urban jungle. But either way, take care of your mom. So get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply.
You better do it today, people. Definitely do it today.
And real quick, Keith, how can I miss this, man? You watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? You have to turn down the volume with all that monotonous shouting and incessant noise. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
So here's the thing. So my thing is, we talk about Tobias Harris, right? Mm-hmm. Do you see any scenario where Tobias comes back?
I do, at a much smaller number. I do. Listen, man. I'm as disappointed as anybody in Tobias Harris for his complete and utter no-show. And I kind of wonder how that went during the exit interviews. For Game 6 on your floor after a decent Game 5. So, he's not a $39 million a year player, Keith. Is he a $15 or $14 million a year player? Do you have to make, Yes, in this league, yeah, he is. He's at least that, bare minimum. Do you make it? They've got other decisions though. What do you do with, as I called him, Duddy Hield, and he came out and wasn't Duddy Hield. In Game 6, he was neutered by Nick Nurse, and one of the worst moves Nick Nurse made all season. Kelly Oubre is a decision. I like Kelly. And then I do get the feeling that Kelly Oubre will show up, although he has these crazy off-season moments that can't happen anymore. You're a grown man, dog. This stuff can't happen anymore. You can't be on a mysterious bicycle, on a mysterious Lambo. So yeah, I do think there's a possibility. And you know what? Fans know what level Tobias contributes at. In the NBA, nobody really gives a damn about your feelings. Oh, he hurt me in Game 6. Nobody gives a damn about that. It's all about economics and where you can get him at. So I do see, remote as it may be. I mean, does Tobias want to be here because he's gotten a chance to sample the bile that Philadelphia produces?
I mean, that's the question, right? I mean, my thing is like, do you want to go somewhere where you probably think you're going to get paid?
Yeah.
And you're not going to like be the butt of all jokes.
Right.
I mean, let's think about it. Like you go to the Phillies game, one guy says wanted a Tobias Harris points. Other people are just killing him. You got Kendrick Perkins saying he went to Chick-fil-A to get some grub and came back with some straws and napkins, right? And no food, right? I mean, so it's kind of like, you got people killing them for the crumble cookie stuff. Like it's one of those things. Like, do you really want to come back to
be affiliated with that?
Huh?
Why would he want to put himself through that?
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. So you don't. So with that being said, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's coming back. I mean, possibly, but it ain't going to be for the money that he wants.
Right.
Right.
He has to know that.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, but then there's teams like Detroit and other places everywhere. Now the problem is, his stock dropped so much.
Yeah.
Like, over here that, you may not get the money that he thought he was going to get in the open market. But at the same time, it's like you're going to go to those teams and they were building squads. Like you're going to get paid, but the goal is like by the time they get really good, you ain't going to be there.
Right.
So,
right. But remember, Keith, that's not his issue. That's their issue.
Yeah, it's their issue. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, I just don't I really, nowadays it seems like it's all about getting paid. It is. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
But sometimes it should be all about trying to win a chip too.
It really, really should. For the municipality you represent, that's all it's about. For the independent conglomerates that these guys are, it's about getting paid. A
lot of them is about getting paid, man. A lot of dudes, they'll try to get as much bank as they got. And the thing is, like, my thing is, like, you already got 180 million, and that's from the Sixers. You had money before then, so it's like, how much more money do you need? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how much more do you need? It is what it is, I guess. But going to Detroit and places like that, less pressure. Let's keep it 100. You ain't got to worry about it. Like, you're going to get your stats because all the games are going to be meaningless.
Right.
And it's kind of like, I hate to say it, it's kind of like when the Sixers were tanking. They had several dudes on that team that was getting straight buckets. And then when they got traded, they couldn't get in. They couldn't crack the rotation. Right. And then you realize, like, they was getting meaningless points. Yeah. So you go to Detroit and it's like, you're going to get straight buckets. You're going to do whatever you want. But at the same time, is the team competitive? No. It's like you just running up and down. You're just saying, I got an 82-game season, and that's what it's all about. I'm going to get mine. And it's not prime example, no offense to him, but look at Bradley Beal when he was with Washington. They were struggling mightily. He was the man. And then all of a sudden they go to Phoenix, and it's a little bit different. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But we like to thank y'all for listening. We want y'all to have a blessed day and a blessed week. And we'll be back tomorrow to talk more about your Philadelphia 76ers. Remember, you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcast at. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast at and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Deuces.
Keith, I can't wait to hear your take on Daryl Morey after he speaks.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I got to hear yours too.